Hi guys, welcome to my channel Lush Foliage. I hope you guys are fine and are safe. So I quickly wanted to show you guys my tomato plant. Now my intention was not to grow this plant, but I was collecting some compost in this pot long time ago before I made the compost bin, because I usually prefer to use liquid based compost. And I was collecting some of the compost waste in this, like the kitchen waste, and I think accidentally there were some tomato seeds that also were added, and then eventually the tomato plant started to grow. But now I'm feeling it a little difficult, or I'm feeling bad to cut it off because it has grown so huge. So I let it grow in this. I have just left it. I keep watering it and it keeps growing. Now because it's growing so beautifully, the reason is because there is a lot of kitchen waste in this, and the plant is absorbing all the compost, and hence it's growing. And I wanted to show you this beautiful flowers of tomato. Ideally I have grown tomatoes before, but I've never seen the flowers, because ideally the flowers used to die off. But you can see how beautiful it looks. So if you're planning to grow a tomato plant, if you have something like this that you throw the seeds, very easily the tomato plant will grow from seeds. So once you feel that the plant has reached a good size like this, you can then move them into individual pots. You will have individual stems like this over here. There is one individual stem, so you can just take the stem and put it in an individual pot. When it starts to flower, you need to give a good amount of fertilizer. You can go with the liquid based fertilizers like seaweed, or you can go with compost, whichever NPK, whatever fertilizers you have available, because everyone has a very different approach to adding nutrients in the soil. I personally only use compost water, and this pot had compost in it already, so you can see it's doing quite well. So when they start to flower, you need to give a good amount of soil nutrients. Basically you need to give good food for the plant to grow and produce fruits. If you are growing tomatoes, ensure that you have a very organic soil. Keep adding a little bit more of fertilizers as and when you start seeing flower, because once the flowers come up, after that the tomatoes will start to grow. They will be very small, and so you need to give a good amount of fertilizers and nutrients to the soil so that the plant can consume that and grow the fruits. And about these leaves as well, which I showed you, the ones that had the leaf miner, always discard that, like this leaf miner. Always discard this and throw it away. Don't put this leaves in your compost bin because it is infected. Never use any kind of leaf or plant that is infected with any kind of bugs or insects. Do not use this in your compost because it is going to be bad for the compost. So whenever you tend to see something like this, do not use this in your compost. You have to discard it completely. Guys, it has been a couple of days that the tomato plant was growing, and you had seen that it was flowering as well. And now I want to show you something. This is our first tomato that has started to grow. As you can see over here, this is our first tomato. So once the flowers are bloomed and once the flowers fall off, that's when they will start to grow. Over here I have another one. I don't know if it's going to be visible, but here is another one that is growing. This is the second one, and over here it is just starting off. Now I was not very keen of growing tomatoes, but you know, the plant was growing and I was feeling very bad to cut it off, so I just left it as it is. And now you can see it has started to produce the tomatoes. Now over here you can see this is a very tiny one that is growing. So this is how it happens once the flowers have bloomed, and then you can see this is the small little tomato that is just gonna start growing. So this is the flower. So once you start seeing flowers on tomato plant, after that it is just a matter of time. You will start seeing the tomatoes growing. You can see this was the flower. The flower dried up and fell off, and here you can see a very small little tiny tomato that is starting to grow. So pretty easy. I think this is one of the most easiest vegetable or fruit that can grow. Tomato is a fruit, and you can see how well it tends to grow. And again over here there is a small little one that is growing, very tiny. You can see this, it's just starting to grow. Small little tomato, so it's going to grow like this. So guys, I hope that you liked this video. If you did, please hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe, and keep planting.